When you talk about law school and getting back to the training, if somebody, even as a woman, it may have to work a little harder, as you indicated, during the day because guys can work all night. What's the path of a law student or somebody who wants to be an attorney? I mean, they say there's more attorneys now than there ever have been. Right. What's the future?
And the interesting thing too is the trends that I've seen in the law school graduating classes is that the number of women have come up tremendously. I went to school at Ole Miss, and so even though I'm from here, and we had, I would estimate, about a third women, which was great. And the composites up on the wall, the first woman that we had turned out to be a Mississippi State Supreme Court justice, but there were only one or two, and then until the 80s or so when it became more of a trend for women to go to law school, because they generally went the paralegal route. But as far as the route through school, obviously you have to have your undergraduate degree and then admitted to law school. The number of admissions, I'm just not up to date on what that is nowadays, but in general it's pretty rigorous, 3 years, and then you take the bar, which is not any fun at all.
Right. Takes a few times sometimes.
Shouldn't. No. You should be able to do it on the first round. Yeah.
A lot of work. Now, you have to clerk, you have to do all sorts of...
Some people do, yeah. It depends on what you intend to do in your area of practice. I worked in firms, during the summer, and after, when I finished school, while I was studying for the bar, I took off a couple months to pursue that study. But yeah, it just depends. A lot of folks clerk. In fact, actually several of the attorneys that I work with have clerked for various judges after they graduate from law school.
What is clerking? We all hear that, but what exactly is clerking?
Most people talk about it in the context of going to work for a circuit court judge or a court of appeals judge or a Supreme Court judge, where you're basically their research assistant. You travel with them, and you get to see all sorts of trial work and negotiations. It's a tremendous experience.
Is that after you pass? Are you a working attorney, or
exactly.
You pass the bar, but you're a clerk?
You're a practicing attorney. You just you're there in a research capacity.
I got you. Would you recommend the job as certainly something that, would you say, you get sometimes people go, I wouldn't do it. I spent a lot of time in radio. I would never tell somebody to go be a DJ.
No. More people say that, especially in my area of practice. People think we're nuts.
Right.
I think it is a great field for people with certain characteristics. Like I said, I prefer negotiation, and you can't get any more negotiation heavy than family court, because most cases are simply not tried. But you have to have a real talent for dealing with people on a very intimate basis, and some attorneys just simply aren't geared towards that. And then I think when you're dealing with criminal defense, again, it's another area of practice where most people say, how can you represent somebody if you know they're guilty? Well, the simple fact is that our Constitution gives everybody the right to counsel. And so maybe you're only there to work a deal, maybe you're there to truly defend all the way through the trial. But nonetheless, people, even if they are guilty, are entitled to representation.
Right, for the best possible outcome for them.
Exactly.
Granted, rehabilitation in some cases certainly.
Sometimes it's not our job to consider that. But
fair enough.
Yeah.
With the Richard Breibart firm, how do folks get in touch with the firm?
We're very visible online, and have developed our websites tremendously. I think they're very helpful. Have a lot of useful information on there. But we've got palmettalegal.com and palmettafamilylaw.com. One highlighting obviously the family court area of the practice, and the other with the general practice in criminal defense.
Are there any pitfalls that you see as you gear up for family courts? You see that a lot. What are some of the common issues that maybe you're going through divorce? What are some advice you give to maybe get to a more amicable situation than an ugly one?
I tell everybody, with very few exceptions, that when you're dealing in high stress issues, which inevitably you are in family court, that you have to take care of yourself, health-wise, counseling-wise. I rarely tell a client it's not a good idea to go through counseling with somebody qualified at the same time that they're working with me. It's difficult for me to help them make decisions when they're not clear-headed and logical. And we deal with so many cases that involve mostly minor mental illness or depression or things like that. So you've just really got to be aware of your client's ability to understand what's going on and being able to make rational decisions. And I think that that's a huge component of the criminal defense as well. a lot of times these folks are called on to give direction in the general litigation or the defense, and they simply can't do so if they're not taking care of themselves.
Right, they have to play an active role in their own,
Absolutely.
I guess, their own defense. You can't leave it up to you to continue to do everything. Fantastic. Rebecca West, thank you so much for coming in and joining us on the couch at Travinia's. Get us some dinner. I recommend the pasta mona nina.
We were just here on Friday night.
Were you? What'd you have?
I had the ravioli with the cream sauce. It was a veal ravioli with cream sauce.
That is good stuff.
Excellent.
Try the macaroni and cheese too. I'm going to have some in a minute.
My niece did, actually. Yeah.
Love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's good to meet you.
We'll see you again on the couch. Tyler Ryan, Lexington Woman. It's Woman to Woman TV at Travinia's. Thanks for joining us.